What if I told you hitting that dream XRP price might come with an unexpected problem? Picture this. XRP finally moons, and suddenly you can't cash out like you thought you could. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the warning that a couple of experts just dropped on us XRP holders. And it really got me thinking. As someone who's held XRP since early 2020, I've been through the roller coaster, the hopes, the FUD, the when Lambo jokes, right? We all have that price in mind where we would consider selling a chunk and celebrating, right? But now I'm hearing that when the next price rally hits, selling might not be as easy as clicking that sell button now. In this video today, I want to share the surprising discovery that I made about XRP's liquidity trap and how I'm planning ahead so that I don't get left holding the bag. Trust me here, this is one that you're going to want to hear before the rocket takes off. So, the other day I'm just scrolling through crypto Twitter and I see a post from Jack Claver. Now he's the CEO of a firm called Digital Ascension Group. Now he basically said something that stopped me in my tracks. In a nutshell, when XRP finally sees some major price action, a lot of exchanges won't have the liquidity to let us cash out at the market price. So, just let that sink in, right? We've all waited for years for XRP to hit those much higher numbers. And now we're being told that when it does happen, it might actually struggle, or at least we all might actually struggle to sell. Now, Claver believes that there could be a supply shock, right? The big institutions might dominate over-the-counter trades and hog most of the liquidity, while regular traders like you and me are stuck with fewer options. Basically, guys, the rich guys get the VIP exit and we're just left shuffling in the crowd. Reading that, I kind of felt like a wake-up call. I mean, I've always kind of imagined the day that XRP shoots to the moon. I log into my exchange, I hit sell, and boom, life is changed. But if at least what Claver says is true, it might not play out so smoothly, right? And he's not the only one sounding the alarm. A community pundit named Diana also chimed in and underscored Claver's warning. She pointed out something a lot of us newer XRP holders, or maybe even some of us OGs that never really considered. You know how everyone has that magic number? Let's say it's $10, and they all say to themselves, I'm going to sell at $10 or some other round figure, right? Well, Diana basically said, look, good luck with that, right? If thousands of people are trying to sell at $10 all at once, do you really think that there are thousands of buyers lined up at exactly $10 ready to eat up all of your sell orders? It's not likely. The market doesn't work like an orderly queue. She gave an example that hit home for me. Imagine setting your order to sell at $10, but because so many others are selling, the best you get is like $8.50. Now, that difference is pretty huge. It could mean thousands of dollars left on the table just gone because of slippage and thin liquidity. Now, it's kind of like when you're at a concert and the fire alarm goes off. Everybody rushes towards that one exit. It's chaos, right? And people just aren't getting out, without a scratch. Now, in the same way, during a parabolic rally, if everyone tries to exit their XRP positions at the same time, well, the order books on the exchanges get thin really fast. There's just not enough liquidity at those high prices. So, the price starts dropping rapidly until buyers are found, which means that your sell order might execute way below what you actually wanted. And it gets even trickier, especially for XRP. And here is why. Institutions, right? I'm talking banks, hedge funds, big players. Now, they don't usually buy on the public exchanges like the rest of us. Now, they actually set up private OTC, that's over-the-counter deals. Now, Diana noted that these big private trades actually pull liquidity out of the public markets. So, while you and I are trying to hit sell on an exchange, a bank might be quietly buying or selling a huge chunk of XRP behind closed doors, not even touching the exchange order books. Now, that can make the public markets even thinner, just when prices are spiking and us little guys need liquidity the most. There's more. Ripple, the company associated with XRP, recently made a pretty huge move, acquiring a company called G Treasury for $1 billion. Now, why is that important? Because G Treasury specializes in corporate treasury solutions, and this deal likely means a ton of XRP is being sucked into enterprise use, into payment systems for banks and corporations. In other words, a bunch of XRP is being taken out of public exchanges and put into private hands for real-world use. Now, that's awesome for XRP's long-term utility and for global finance positioning. But it could mean that when XRP's price skyrockets, there's even less XRP available on the exchanges to trade. Less supply on exchanges equals potentially tighter liquidity, which equals potentially even more difficulty in cashing out for us normal retail holders. By now, you can probably see why I was both excited and a little bit unsettled hearing all of this. On one hand, these warnings are coming because of a massive XRP rally that might actually be on the horizon. And that's kind of what we've all been waiting for, right? But on the other hand, what's the point of a sky-high price if you can't actually sell at the price that you want? It's kind of like winning the lottery, but then the bank tells you, oops, we don't have enough cash for your prize. Come back later, and it's this damn pure couture. Now, it's not a situation that you want to be in. So I had to ask myself, How do I make sure that I'm not stuck in that kind of scenario? How do we little guys prepare for a big rally where the rules of the game might change on the fly? Well, no way that I'm going to be leaving this to chance. That's just not a strategy. Now, before I step into at least talk about all the steps I'm taking here, let me just drop a really quick reality check. Now, this might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right, with that important disclaimer out of the way, let's talk strategy and solutions. Basically, what am I doing and what you might consider doing after doing your own research, of course. Step one for me was ensuring that I have multiple exit doors, not just one. Think about this. If all of your XRP is on just one exchange, and that exchange glitches or runs out of buyers when you need to sell, you're going to be stuck. Now, I'm not about to let years of diamond-handing XRP go down the drain because of one platform can't handle the heat. No. So I've got accounts on several different exchanges, and I've made sure to set them up well in advance. I'm talking about KYC, small test deposits and withdrawals, the whole 9 yards, long before I ever need to use them in a pinch. In fact, I put links in the description to all of the exchanges that I personally use. Now, I kind of have this strategy of testing and having an account on many exchanges because you never know which one will save your behind in a crunch. Now, sometimes exchanges go down or freeze withdrawals when things get wild. It's happened plenty of times before. Remember late 2017, Coinbase actually had a partial outage that locked many users out of their accounts during the Bitcoin frenzy. And it wasn't just Coinbase either. Other major exchanges struggled under the sudden demand. Now, that taught me a very valuable lesson. Always have a plan B and C. So if Exchange A is having some issues, I can hop over to Exchange B or C. It's kind of like having multiple evacuation routes during an emergency. So, yes, I'm on Kraken, I'm on Coinbase, I'm on BitGet, I'm on Blowin. You name it, I'm on it. By the way, I do have affiliate links that are for all of these exchanges over on our website. And using those links really does help support the channel here. So, thank you in advance for anyone who does go over and uses those links. It costs you nothing extra, but I do believe in transparency when I recommend anything. And speaking of exchanges, I want to highlight a very special offer that I've arranged with a little bonus for the XRP community. Now, I've partnered up with Kraken, and they have a limited time deal where if you sign up with my link and trade $100 worth of any cryptocurrency, excluding stablecoins, well, Kraken will give you $25 of XRP as a reward. How sweet is that, right? Basically free XRP. Now, it's also a great way to get another exchange account set up and tested before the market gets crazy bullish again. So, if you are interested, check out the Kraken affiliate link that is in the description. Trade $100 and get your 25s in XRP. There are terms and conditions, of course, so well worth checking those out. Just remember, it is a limited time thing, so don't snooze on it. As always, check out the terms on the Kraken website. I've got all of the details and the fine print linked down there too. Now, having multiple exchange accounts is one side of the equation, but what about where you store your crypto or your XRP? Now, a lot of people keep their crypto on an exchange, which is pretty convenient for quick trading, but during a frenzy, that could backfire real fast. Now, if an exchange runs into trouble or worst case, temporarily suspends XRP trading due to volatility or liquidity issues, then you don't want your coins stuck there. Now, personally, I keep all of my XRP on multiple different private wallets, these ledger stacks that you see right here. That way, I have control of my assets. When I want to sell, I can decide which exchange to send them to, right? Depending on which one seems the most stable and liquid at that moment. It might take a few extra minutes or a few extra steps to transfer and to trade, but the peace of mind of knowing that I hold the keys is kind of worth it. Plus, moving some XRP to different exchanges ahead of time when you sense a rally is coming might also not be a bad idea either. Just be careful and don't put all of your eggs in a single basket. If you're interested in Ledger, there's a link in the description where you can get these kind of devices directly from the manufacturer, which is the only way you want to buy any hardware wallet direct from the manufacturer. Don't go to somewhere like eBay or Amazon because they might be tampered with. Only direct from manufacturer. Speaking of planning ahead, I'm also thinking about how to actually execute selling when the time comes. Rather than just trying to sell everything all at one magic number, I'm considering setting staggered sell orders. Basically scaling out of my position gradually. For example, maybe you sell a little bit of $5, maybe a bit more at $8, a little bit at $10, and so on. Just hypothetical numbers, by the way, here. So that way that I'm not trying to kind of catch or to push a giant stack out the door all at once, right? Sure, maybe I'll miss selling an absolute top that way, but let's be honest, almost no one nails the exact peak, right? And if XRP goes even higher than my first targets, hey, I still have some skin in the game. Right now, the key is this. I won't be stuck frantically fighting through that tiny exit door with everyone else, at least not with my whole bag. Now let's just pivot here for a second because all this talk about selling and exit plans is pretty crucial. But I also ask myself another big question. What if I didn't have to be so eager to sell my XRP stash in the first place? What if I could earn some passive crypto income that takes a little bit of the pressure off the need at least to time the market perfectly? Well, this is where a project that I've been involved in kind of comes into play. Now, some of you probably already know this, but we're going to be talking about Unity briefly here. If you're following the channel for a while, then you've definitely heard me mention Unity nodes before. Now, it's not the focus of this video, but it is part of the broader crypto journey and my strategy. So, I want to give you a quick update on it. Now, in simple terms, Unity is a platform that lets you earn crypto by running an amplification on your mobile phone. So, think of it like joining a decentralized telecoms network where your device helps provide useful information related to the telecom's connectivity and security in this particular case. And in return, you get paid in crypto. Now, what's cool is it's not some other random coin, new kind of coin that's being minted here. No, you actually get to choose to be paid in popular crypto coins such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, and a whole host of others. So, yes, that means that I could be stacking more XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum or ADA or, something else without actually having to buy it outright just by participating in this network. Now, I ended up purchasing a Unity Masternode NFT a while back, which basically came with 200 licenses. Now, those licenses, they let me connect up to 200 devices, like smartphones, right, to the Unity network. Now, I'm not about to go crazy and hook up 200 phones on day one. That would be overkill, and I want to test the waters first. So, my plan is to start with a small test run when the Unity app goes live. Maybe just with these 10 phones over here to begin with, just to see how the system works and what kind of rewards I'm getting. And if it's working smoothly and it's worthwhile, I'll consider scaling it up gradually. It's kind of like mining, but without the kind of loud rigs and massive electricity bills. Now, I'm basically just using some phones to earn some crypto. And here's the thing. The fact that I can choose to get paid rewards in crypto, or specifically XRP, Bitcoin, Ether, whatever, right? It means that XRP's price goes down the line. Goes up or down, or, it doesn't really matter. Then I've actually been passively accumulating a bit more along the way, which is a nice little bonus on top of whatever I already had. Now, I know that a lot of you listening are already familiar with Unity, so I won't dive too deep into all of it. If you are newer and you want a bit of a refresher, or maybe you want a refresher, then I'll put a link in the description down below to Unity's light paper and their rewards calculator, so you can check it out for yourselves. As always, you've got to do your own research. I should also mention, though, because this is something that I'm pretty excited about, I managed to get my hands on a second and third Unity Masternode. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't cheap, but I'm in this for the long haul. Now, I realize that not everyone can or wants to kind of drop that kind of money on a full node, which is why I'm setting up a way to lease out my extra licenses to the community. Basically, if you're interested in Unity, but don't want to purchase a whole masternode for yourselves, then you could use one of my licenses to run the application and still earn rewards without that big upfront cost. Now, I have more information on this on the website linked in the description down below, and of course in our free educational Discord server. Both of those links, by the way, are in the description. Now, I love our Discord community, by the way. It's completely free, and it's where we share ideas, answer questions, and learn from each other. So, if you haven't joined yet, hop on in. It's one of the best places to actually stay updated and chat with people about projects just like this, bringing it back to XRP and the looming liquidity crunch. Then, all of this preparation, it might sound a little overkill to some people, and I do get it. It's more fun to just daydream about Lambo time and life-changing gains than it is to think about all the technical roadblocks like liquidity and exchange outages. But the way that I see this is if you are fortunate enough that your investments rocket up, that's exactly when you're going to need to be the most cautious and the most practical. Right? I've seen too many people get wrecked by not planning their exit, right? Some don't consider the taxes that they've got to pay, and then they get slammed by a massive bill. Some don't consider the liquidity aspect of things and get a nasty surprise with slippage. And some get locked out of their accounts because they forgot to verify an exchange, and they can't get their money out fast enough in a crunch. Remember, Jake Claver talked about people expecting overnight wealth without preparing for it. And he's so right about it. Generational wealth could be on the table with XRP. We've all heard the stories, but that kind of opportunity doesn't mean that you can't actually secure it, right? And obviously it doesn't happen just by luck here. You've got to manage it properly. Now that means you've got to be thinking about the unsexy stuff, like how will you convert crypto to fiat when you need to? Is your exchange withdrawal limit high enough for the amount that you plan to cash on out? Do you have a tax plan in place? Is your bank that you're looking to receive the fiat into actually crypto friendly? Because if not, be prepared for your account to get frozen and get debanked. It's happened to Chris on this channel too. Because believe me here, right? That tax man, by the way, he's going to be ready to take his share whether your bank account gets frozen or not. When you realize those gains, liquidity crunch or not, bank accounts frozen or not, the tax man doesn't care. He's coming for his slice. Now, I'm not giving you tax advice here. I'm certainly not doing that. I'm not a consultant. I'm not a professional for any of that stuff. It's just on my checklist of things that you should be very mindful of. So, here's my honest take home on all of this. I'm still insanely bullish on XRP's future, right? I wouldn't be talking to you all about these scenarios if I wasn't optimistic at the core, right? I've stuck with XRP through thick and thin, and I do believe that big things are coming, whether it's new all-time highs, more adoption by institutions, or something that we can't even predict yet. But being bullish doesn't mean being naive, right? The difference between those who just get lucky and those who actually stay successful in the next bull run might actually come down to the preparation and the strategy. My plan is quite straightforward. Hope for the best. Plan for the not so best. If XRP moons, it's awesome. I'll be ready to methodically take some profits so that I can actually enjoy the fruits of that win. And if things get wild or it takes a little bit longer than expected, you know what? That's fine too. I'm going to be earning a bit on the side with things like Unity nodes, and I have multiple plans in place to ride out any storm. So either way, I'm not going to be one of those people scrambling at the last minute. And I don't want you to be either. At this point, I want you to take a moment and really think about your own plans, right? If XRP hit your target price tomorrow, do you have your accounts ready, your strategy set, your emotions in check? If the answer is no, or even not sure, don't worry. You're not alone, and it's definitely not too late to actually get prepared. The fact that you're watching this actually means you're taking a step towards being ready. So, keep learning, stay sharp, and don't let the hype of a rally cloud your judgment. The goal isn't just to make money here. It is to make it and make it work for you. So, if you found value in this little heart-to-heart with me, you can do me a favor today by smashing that like button, hitting the subscribe button, and I've got a feeling that we're all in for one heck of a ride in the coming months. And you know what? You're not going to want to miss what's next. So stay safe, stay smart, and I'll catch you all in the next